Alright, distress call from Anais 2. Spock, what can you tell us about this?
I advise referring to the star map and setting a course for the Onius system, Captain.
Oh, Onius. I thought it was Anais. It's quite often a problem with voice acting is with weird names is that they don't know how to pronounce it.
Onius 2, a Class M planet in a system consisting of 3 unformed planets. Because of the high level of micrometeorite activity in the system, it is unusual for a Class M planet to exist. The planet is not inhabited and is not scheduled for colonization.
Yeah, that sounds like a rather risky proposition. Okay. Let's go there then.
Approaching Onius 2, Captain.
It may be nothing, Captain, but a scan of the planet's atmosphere indicates a high concentration of rare gases trapped in the planet's magnetosphere. Atmospheric disturbances could produce random radio waves.
It wouldn't be the first time, Mr. Spock, but we'll never be able to tell if we don't check it out. After all, to seek out new life and new civilizations is our mission, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
A split infinitive, Captain.
What?
The proper grammatical expression is to go boldly where no man has gone before.
Somehow, I think it loses a little in the translation.
Oh my god, they're actually acknowledging it. It's like in First Contact when Zefram Cochrane says, "So you're like astronauts on some kind of Star Trek." Yeah. Okay, standard orbit.
Entering standard orbit.
It's never not cool. Okay, can we scan the surface? I forget how to do this now.
Fascinating, Captain. Sensors indicate only 2 faint life forms. It is difficult to distinguish, given the discharges in the planet's magnetosphere. It is, however, safe to transport to the planet's surface.
Excellent. So it's interesting he said radio waves, because as I understand it, Starfleet doesn't monitor radio waves traditionally, because most warp-capable species have moved on to subspace communication because of the slow speed of radio waves. But anyway, let's just head down, shall we?
Captain, our sensors will not be particularly useful to you while you're down there, and communications may be erratic, sir.
We'll be fine, Lieutenant. What reason is there to worry?
Yeah, let's just beam down to a completely unknown planet. It always goes fine.
I'm afraid, Captain, there are plenty of precedents. We'll be here if you need us.
I have no doubt of that.
Why don't we just take a few red shirts?
I have tracked the signal to its source. It is near the life forms. The rest of the planet is quite desolate. No sign of life or technology. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable. And I detect numerous micrometeorite hits.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
There are 3 unformed planets in this system. It's no wonder. There are so many micrometeorites. I'm surprised any Class M planet hasn't been pulverized by now.
Indeed.
It is not inconceivable, but it is certainly unusual.
Let's do it, Spock. You, McCoy, and I. Oh, and tell Bones to see if a genetic specialist's available. If there are only 2 life forms, we might be privileged to see life at its earliest stages.
Really? So we're not expecting sentient life? What's it?
Looks to me as if we landed on a skeleton after the vultures have picked it clean.
A fascinating analogy, Doctor. Captain, the locus of the distress signal is in that building.
I think the doctor is right. Anything good here died a long time ago. It feels creepy to me.
He's not wearing a red shirt. He might be alright.
Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Johns. I'll be certain to use creepy in my log entry about this.
Oh man, the sarcasm begins early. Okay, so obviously we have a technological society, or at least what there is left of one. And the fact there's only 2 left means they were wiped out.
The building, which is old and pitted with micrometeorite strikes, appears ancient, and if built by humanoids, was created for tall individuals.
Not necessarily. It could just be an ostentatious entrance. Like, the doors in London are much wider on the buildings. But that, maybe because people are wider in London, I don't know. But the thing is about micrometeorites is micrometeorites burn up in a planet's atmosphere. It's only large meteorite is what you call it when it actually hits the ground. Like, this would be a meteorite. When it's in the air, it's a meteor. So yeah, the terminology is a little wrong, but never mind. Let's have a chat with Spock.
It strikes me as unlikely, Captain, that this world is capable of sustaining the society and culture needed to generate the distress signals we have been receiving from here.
Well, maybe they've crash landed on this planet and built this structure. Or maybe they've just commandeered this structure. I don't know. Let's go in. Interesting.
Well, I have to hand it to whoever built this place. All this equipment looks brand new and in good repair.
Let's hope the Enterprise looks this good when it's this old.
Unfortunately, it won't get that old.
We should be very careful about how we proceed, Captain. I have a strange feeling that evil is lurking nearby.
Who are you again?
Evil, Ensign?
Something that wants to imperil our souls, sir. We must avoid that at all costs.
For God's sake, why did we bring a superstitious genetics scientist along?
I haven't seen equipment like this since I interned on Talara. Such equipment. In such a place.
He's trying to upstage Shatner.
A DNA synthesizer and replicator. This is one of the most advanced genetics facilities I have ever seen. How unusual.
How so, Spock?
Even visitors to this planet would leave behind a substantial number of artifacts. Sending only a genetics lab does not fit established archaeological patterns.
You know, a person could do serious research with a device like this. What an odd piece of equipment to find in a place like this.
Aside from minor differences in styling, this looks remarkably like a Tellarite 8000 DNA sequencer. If not for a thin covering of red dust, you would assume this DNA replicator had just been unboxed and set up.
So, it looks like someone has come here to do some secret experiments somewhere dangerous and out of the way where no one will notice, and maybe something went wrong, and that's why there's a distress call.
This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly
What?
50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered.
But it resembles modern technology. Does that mean there's time travel involved, or is it just convergent technology?
Aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle, this DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was 50,000 years ago.
That's extraordinary.
This appears to be a patch of rust and dust that has accumulated on the machine's surface.
Really? It doesn't look like dust, it's green. It's more like copper residue.
Readings indicate that along with oxidation and dust, there is some organic residue in the crust-like buildup.
Let's see if Bones can...
Nothing to report, Captain. Are you ready to be beamed aboard?
Tourist season's not over, Lieutenant.
So when do we get shore leave, Captain?
Lieutenant, if I scheduled shore leave down on this planet, I'd be the most unpopular captain in the Starfleet. Kirk out.
Yeah, maybe. That's not what I meant to do. Medical tricorder on the go.
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There are some things I just can't fix.
I was hoping for your analysis, Bones. Okay, let's...
I don't understand any of this, Jim.
Is that your catchphrase in this game? Alright, let's just have a further look around. Whoa!
I welcome you, otherworlders. I beseech you, save us from that which seeks our destruction.
A hologram?
How fitting for a devil to appear on a world that looks like hell.
First contact protocol, Ensign Johns?
Enough of that, Mr. Johns. This is just another xenobiological entity.
For God's sake.
Correction, Doctor. This is a projection of a xenobiological entity.
Jim, the only life form readings are within that machine behind the porthole. Single-cell organisms with an extremely high reproductive rate, but a very poor metabolism and an extremely short lifespan.
What if it's an interactive hologram?
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Visner of the Alphen people. Our race possessed this world and thrived here until the invasion by the forces of light. We are locked in a death struggle with them, for they desire our destruction. Do you aid them?
No, we do not aid them. Wars and destruction are not things we value, Visner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise.
Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it?
Wars and destruction are not things.
You open yourself to confusion in speaking with Azra, but it is understandable that you want to hear his side before acting. My assessment of you suggests that most of you will fight the clouding of logic and will see through Azra's deception. Please report to me your success.
Azra. Okay, but these recordings or simulations could be 50,000 years old. This could be an ancient power struggle that is completely irrelevant now.
A large alien computer.
Alright, Spock, you know what to do?
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Are you serious? It's a large alien computer. Did I click the wrong thing?
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way.
A keyboard? How quaint.
Maybe I should ask Spock to take a look at this.
Yeah, in the absence of Scotty.
I am reactivating Visner, Captain.
Oh, okay, that's what that does. Scan the hologram.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan races.
Either that or they were, like, top-tier PC gamers. Another computer? It's the same as the other one.
The computer console appears normal, though non-functional.
How can you tell? It's got flashing lights all over it.
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself.
Okay, so is it another projector?
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the creatures who designed it were possessed of hands with only 3 fingers and a thumb. The narrow width
yeah, but have a go with it.
Spock, what do you make of this?
Merely the casing, Captain. The truly important parts of the machine are the keyboard and the porthole.
There's a porthole. Okay, it's hard to tell what's what.
The computer console.
Is that a porthole?
It looks exactly like the in-out access port at a genetic research facility.
Do you have any idea what this machine does, Spock?
It looks like a containment unit for an artificially created genetic construct. My tricorder indicates the device contains a nutrient replicator that could last for thousands of centuries. I would speculate this would nursemaid the genes until it has evolved into a higher form of life and is ready for release on the planet's surface.
So we got some terraforming stuff going on, maybe. This is very confusing and interesting. Another computer. Oh, okay.
Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome. I am Azra of the Omegan people. You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
I see.
An angel!
Oh god, Ensign, shut up.
Actually, it is the projected image of an angel, Mr. John.
It's not got wings!
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the portal are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
The exact opposite of the other life forms.
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Is this Babylon 5?
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces of darkness. We must help him.
Who the hell do you think you are, Ensign?
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about? Our prime directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise.
You imperil your soul by conversing with the enemy, that sugar-tongued Visner. I cannot protect you, but I do not imagine I can dissuade you either. Go, do what you must. I do not have that much time, but will be here if you seek to comply with my request.
There's no need to leave. We've already talked with Visner. I have to say that I find many of your claims insupportable.
Insupportable? How can you defend a race whose very existence is based upon deceit and foul lies?
We know nothing about them.
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them. Frankly, Azra, Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic. For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities.
Captain, they're as different as angels and demons.
Again, Ensign? Shut up.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us and our potential for good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help?
What does God need with a starship?
You said they were created after you were. How do you know that?
We know we came first because that is what our sacred scriptures tell us.
Oh, yeah.
In the light we were born, and commanded to shun that which dwells in darkness. This clearly tells us that we came first. Surely you can see that. Or is it that you have some other interpretation of the event that birthed the Omegans?
We know nothing about it.
Does your sacred scriptures explicitly say that no beings were created before you?
Don't try to argue scripture.
Dare you suggest they came first?
Let's see what we've got. 2 single-celled organisms, each incapable of survival on their own. One lives in light, the other lives in darkness. Each must live a limited and unstable life without the other.
Captain, do you know what you're doing?
Allow us to unite you again. Your combined strengths will make you a viable entity again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Yes, Kirk has been through this before. Oh. Looks like we've got a can of tuna.